Good evening to one and all. This is Dr. Vijay Kumar, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering from St. Peter's Engineering College, Hyderabad. Today I am going to discuss about the applications of solar energy. Before starting the applications of solar energy, I would like to give brief revision about the unit 2 from the renewable energy sources. Last class we discussed about the what is solar energy, solar radiation, photovoltaic. Solar energy refers to capturing the energy from the sun and subsequently converting it into electricity. We can then use that electricity to light up our homes, streets, and businesses and power our machines as well. We can also use the term solar power with the same meaning. China is the world's largest generator of solar energy. Today, it has a solar energy capacity of 130 gigawatts. A solar radiation and also this various solar radiation is a sensor measures solar energy from the sun. Actually, solar radiation is a radiant energy emitted by the sun from a nuclear fusion reaction that creates electromagnetic energy. The spectrum of solar radiation is close to that of a black body with a temperature of about 5800 Kelvin. About half of the radiation is in the visible short wave part of the electromagnetic spectrum. The other half is mostly in the near infrared part, with some in the ultraviolet part of the spectrum. The units of the solar radiation are the watts per square meter. And now, coming to working principle of solar cells, here the is based on the photovoltaic effect. That is the generation of a potential difference at the junction of two different materials in response to electromagnetic radiation. The photovoltaic effect is closely related to the photoelectric effect, where electrons are emitted from a material that has observed light with a frequency above a material dependent there should frequency. In 1905, Albert Einstein understood that this effect can be explained by assuming that the light consists of well-defined energy quanta called photons. The energy of such a photon is given by E equals to small h and small v, where h is the Planck's constant and v is the frequency of the light. For his explanation of the photovoltaic effect, Einstein received the Nobel Prize in the physics in 1921. And also in the module manufacturers contain enough solar cells in series in a single module to produce a useful voltage. The typical high voltage grid tied module has 72 cells in a series. Electrons passing through each cell gain a lattice more than half volt. So after passing through 72 cells, the operational voltage of the module is about 40 volts. If even more voltage is needed, then modules can be connected in series. For example, a typical residential solar array has 8 modules connected in series, resulting in a final operational voltage of about 320 volts. Uh, Next, now coming to the applications of solar energy systems. So these are the some of the major applications of solar energy systems are solar heating of buildings, solar distillation, solar pumping, solar drying of agricultural and animal products, solar furnaces, solar cooking, solar electrical power generation, solar thermal power production, solar greenhouses. Let us discuss one by one. So first one, solar water heating. A solar water heating unit comprises a black and flat plated metal collector with an associated metal tubing facing the general direction of the sun. The plate collector has a transparent glass cover above and a layer of thermal insulation beneath it. The metal tubing of the collector is connected by a piece to an insulated tank that stores hot water during cloudy days. The collector absorbs solar radiation and transfer the heat to the water circulating through the tubing either by gravity or by a pump. And also this hot water is supplied to the storage tank via the associated metal tubing. This system of water heating is commonly used in hotels, guest houses, tourist bungalows, hospitals, canteens, as well as domestic and industrial units. And next, coming to solar heating of buildings. Actually, solar energy can be used for space heating of buildings in many ways, namely, first one, collecting the solar radiation by some elements of the building itself, that is solar energy is admitted directly into the building through large south facing windows. And next, using separate solar collectors which may heat either water or air or storage devices which can accumulate the collected solar energy for use at night and during inclement days. When the building requires heat, then from these collectors or storage devices, the heat is transferred by conventional equipment such as fan, ducts, air outlets, radiators, and hot air resistors, etc. To warm up the living spaces of a building, when the building does not require heat, the heated air or water from the collector can be moved to the heat storage device such as well insulated water tank or other heat holding material. For inclement days, an auxiliary heating system using using gas, oil, or electricity is required as backup system. Next, coming to solar distillation. In arid semi and or coastal areas, there is a scarcity of potable water. The abundant sunlight in these areas can be used for converting saline water into uh, potable distilled water by the method of solar distillation. In this method, solar radiation is admitted through a transparent airtight glass cover into a shallow blackened basin containing saline water. Solar radiation passes through the covers and is observed and converted into heat in the uh, blackened surface, causing the water to evaporate from the brain. The vapors produced get condensed to form purified water in the cool interior of the roof. The condensed water flows down the sloping roof and is collected in the uh, troughs placed at the bottom, and from there into a water storage tank to supply potable distilled water in areas of scarcity in colleges, schools, science laboratories, defense labs, petrol pumps, hospitals, and pharmaceutical industries, etc. Per liter distilled water cost obtained by this system is cheaper than distilled water obtained by other electrical energy based processes. Now coming to solar pumping. Actually, in solar pumping, the power generated by solar energy is utilized for pumping water for irrigation purposes. The requirement for water pumping is greatest in the hot summer months, which coincide with the increased solar radiations during this period. And so this method is most appropriate for irrigation purpose. During periods of inclement weather, when solar radiations are low than the requirement for Water pumping is also relatively less as the transpiration losses from the crops are also low. Now coming to solar drying of agricultural and animal products, this is a traditional method of utilizing solar energy for uh, drying of agricultural and animal products. Agricultural products are dried in a simple cabinet dryer which consists of a box insulated at the base, uh, painted black on the inner side and covered with an inclined transparent sheet of glass. At the base and the top of the side, ventilation holes are provided to facilitate the flow of air over the drying material, which is placed on uh, perforated trays inside the cabinet. These perforated trays or racks are carefully designed to provide controlled exposure to solar radiation. Solar drying, especially of fruits, improves fruit quality as the sugar concentration increases on drying. Normally, soft fruits are particularly uh, vulnerable to insect attack as the sugar content increases on drying, but in a fruit dryer, considerable time is saved by quicker drying, minimizing gap the chances of insect attack. And also the present practice of drying chilies by spreading them on the floor not only requires a lot of open space and manual labor for material handling, but it becomes difficult to maintain its quality and taste unless drying is done in a controlled atmosphere. Moreover, the products being sun dried very often get spoiled due to sudden rains, dust storms, or by birds. Besides, reports reveal that it is not possible to attain very low moisture content in the sun dried chills. As a result, the chilies become prone to attack by uh, fungi and bacteria. In sun drying, sometimes the produce is over dried and its quality is lost. Solar energy operated dryer helps to overcome most of these disadvantages. Other agricultural products commonly solar dried are potato chips, bear seam, grains of maize, and paddy, ginger, peas, pepper, cashew nuts, timber, and veneer drying and crushing, tobacco curing, spray drying, spray drying of milk and fish drying are examples of solar dried animal products. Now coming to solar furnaces. In a furnace, high temperature is obtained by concentrating the solar radiation onto a specimen using a number of heliostatus arranged on a sloping surface. The solar furnace is used for studying the properties of ceramics at extremely high temperatures above the range measurable in laboratories with flames and electric currents. Heating can be accomplished without any contamination, and the temperature can be easily controlled by changing the position of the material in focus. This is especially useful for metallurgical and chemical operation, whereas property measurements are possible on an open specimen. An important for future application of solar furnaces is the production of nitric acid and fertilizers from air. And now coming to solar cooking, A variety of fuel like coal, kerosene, cooking gas, firewood, dung cakes, and agricultural waste are used for cooking purposes. Due to the energy crisis, a supply of these fuels are either deteriorating or are too precious to be wasted for cooking purposes. This necessitated necessitated the use of solar energy for cooking purpose and the development of solar cookers. A simple solar cooker is the flat plate box type of solar cooker. It consists of a well insulated metal or wooden box which is blackened from the inner side. The solar radiations entering the box are of short wavelength, as higher wavelength radiations are unable to pass through the glass covers. The re-radiation from the blackened interior to outside the box through the two glass covers is minimized, thereby minimizing the heat loss. The heat loss due to convection is minimized by making the box airtight. This is achieved by providing a rubber strip between the upper lid and the box for minimizing the heat loss due to conduction. The space between the blackened tray and outer cover of the box is filled with an insulating material like glasswood, sawdust, paddy husks, etc. Now coming to solar electrical power generation. Electric energy or electricity can be produced directly from solar energy by means of photovoltaic cells. The photovoltaic cell is an energy conversion device which is used to convert photons of sunlight directly into electricity. It is made of semiconductors which absorb the photons received from the sun, creating free electrons with high energy. These high energy free electrons are induced by an electric field to flow out of the semiconductor to do useful work. This electric field in electro photovoltaic cell is usually provided by a PN junction of materials which have different electrical properties. There are different fabrication techniques to enable these cells to achieve maximum efficiency. And also these cells are arranged in parallel or series combination to form cell modules. Some of the special features of these modules are high reliability, no expenditure on fuel, minimum cost of maintenance, long life portable, modularity, uh, pollution free working, etc. Now coming to solar thermal power production. Solar thermal power production means the conversion of solar energy into electricity through thermal energy. In this procedure, solar energy is first utilized to heat up a working fluid, gas, water, or any other volatile liquid. This heat energy is then converted into mechanical energy uh, in a turbine. Finally, a conventional generator coupled to a turbine converts this mechanical energy into electrical energy. And the and the production of power through a solar a solar pond is a natural or artificial body of water utilized for collecting and absorbing solar radiation and storing it as heat. It is very shallow and has a radiation absorbing bottom. It has a curved fiberglass cover over it to permit the entry of solar radiation but reduces losses by radiation and convection. Loss of heat to the ground is maintained by providing a bed of insulating metal under the pond. Solar ponds utilize water for collecting and storing the solar energy, which is used for many applications such as space heating, industrial process heating, and to generate electricity by driving a turbine powered by evaporating an organic fluid with a low boiling point. And now, and last one, coming to last one, solar greenhouses. A greenhouse is a structure covered with transport material that acts as a solar collector and utilizes solar radiant energy to grow plants. It has a heating, cooling, and ventilating devices for controlling the temperature inside the greenhouse. Solar radiations can pass through the greenhouse glazing, but the thermal radiations emitted by the objects within the greenhouse cannot escape through the glazed surface. As a result, the radiations get trapped within the greenhouse and result in an increase in temperature. As the greenhouse structure has a closed boundary, the air inside the greenhouse gets enriched with CO2. As there is no mixing of the greenhouse air with the ambient air. Further, there is reduced moisture loss due to restricted transportation. All these features help to sustain plant growth throughout the day as well as during the night and all year round. So thank you one and all.